Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, ladies and gentlemen. January the 17th, 2026, in the year of our Lord. Bring 3 boxes down of Silver Age comics to look at in order for this channel to have some content. So, how are you guys doing? Just got the news that the Saturday morning comic show is what I call it, but it's actually called Comic Book Memories with Rod and Shannon is going to go off the air as of next Saturday due to health and work reasons, and not for lack of love of doing the show or anything. But so that was bad news. Just found that out. Let's hold on. I gotta just cleaned up some vomit up in the comic room. Whether it was a cat or a dog, the world may never know. So, 13 degrees outside. Light dusting of snow. Watching throwback television. Again, courtesy of Friar Tuck, the amazing Friar Tuck that has told us about this channel that you can watch on Roku. There's a vintage Barbie commercial. Amazing. Okay, let's bring some boxes over and look at the comics.
Barbie dressed for swim and fun is only $3. Her lovely fashions range from $1 to $5. Look for Barbie wherever dolls are sold.
Someday I'm gonna be exactly like you. Till then, just what I'll do. Barbie, beautiful Barbie. I'll make believe that I am you.
You can tell it's Belle. It's swell.
Yeah, I was just ranting about the state of comic book collecting in an episode I started a few minutes ago, and then I accidentally hit the wrong button because I just had an update on the phone, and the phone everything's a little different now.
No enemy can destroy him. He fights off tanks, hurls missiles one after another. Even a squadron of flames can't stop him. Robot Commando fires his secret weapon. He takes orders from no one except you. Ideal's Robot Commando is battery operated to obey your command. Adjust the control, speak into the microphone. Ideal's Robot Commando is here to help you.
All right, one more box.
Robot Commando. He's looking for you.
Hey, Hoff, guess what? The whole staff quit. They just up and left.
So did the guests. I can't understand it. Everyone seems to be having the same hallucinations I'm having.
Yeah, you know what? I hear there's a lot of that going around. All the movie stars are still here, though. Oh, look at the autographs I got. Real collector's items. And here's Count Dryden.
Okay,
You know, I wonder if
now
he's
we can
looking-
start.
Yeah, it's probably red ink or ketchup. That's the way they do things in Hollywood. And the monster put his footprint in front of the hotel. And it wasn't even wet cement either. Just boom, right in the sidewalk.
Norman,
Yeah, where's it, Hoff?
go away.
Sure thing, Hoff. I gotta feed and brush the werewolf anyway.
Oh, how nicely you've redone the place for the wedding. There will be a little something extra in your fifth envelope, my good man, I assure you. But please, keep Rosebud in his cage. He's liable to terrify my guests.
Tell me how to stop waiting.
Anyway, what are you doing way up there? Okay. Well, it's a wonderful day, isn't it? Just great. Okay, you came here to look at comics. Actually, what? This can't be what it says it is. Oh, this is not what it says it is. Yes, it is. Oh my gosh. That's not the box I wanted. Dang nabbit. Dad blame it. We got to go back and get the other box. This box is labeled Marvel Tales, but it's actually the second box of Marvel Tales. I remember now I put the earlier issues of Marvel Tales in a box that had Spider-Man on the side. Let's go back upstairs.
I'd hate to be seen anywhere with him. He doesn't care how I feel. Oh no, he's only interested in himself.
Anyway, I was ranting about all these people that slab their comics, and of course they have thousands and thousands of subscribers, and that's the way it is. That's the way it is. That's the way people want to collect comics now. I miss the comic book collecting days the way it used to be decades and decades ago, before slabbing was invented. Heck, before bags and boards were invented. That was just a better time, I think. People run to it for the love of the comics, not the investment. And anyway, so no one's interested in a channel like this. Boy, it really does. That's why I had the beard, to hide this fat. But if I just lose weight, I won't have to, I was talking about this in the last video. It's, beards are usually there to disguise a fat pig's face. And so I've got to lose weight. Now, Kevin at Gotham City Comics lost over 100 pounds just since June. I should be able to do that. It just requires discipline, which sometimes I don't have much of that. But, okay, so I wonder what's in this Hulk box, man. What's in this box? I have no idea what I put in that. What is all this crap? Stuff just gets piled on top of stuff, and then you don't know what's under the stuff. And you know what I mean. You fellers know what I'm talking about, man. Let's see, what's in this? What's in this box? Oh, we could look at this box. Why not? And what's in this Hulk box? It's not fully full. Oh, it's Marvel Humor. Interesting. That's where that shit is. I was wondering where that was. Okay. Well. All right. Oh my gosh. Look at that. I didn't paint this. I didn't build it. I don't even know where I got it, but it's mine now, all mine. Okay. Spider-Man box is what I came up for. Okay. Let's get out of here, man. Anyway, these collectors that slab and do all that stuff, they're starting to wring their hands, man. It's kind of funny. They have thousands and thousands of subscribers. Yesterday, this Swaggle Horse or Swaggle House on YouTube made a video where he said, well, what if none of these comics are really rare? What if the baby boomers squirreled away many multiple copies? Or what if just all these baby boomers saved one really good copy of every Silver Age Marvel comic, and now they're all deciding to unload it as they're in their 70s? What if that's going on? What if we're still going to be flooded with all these comics? What's that going to do to our wonderful comic book marketplace? Because I've heard idiots, man, wonderful people on YouTube, like Comic Book Tom 101 or whatever his name is, say, I think every Amazing Spider-Man between issues 1 through 100 has already been slabbed. There are no raw copies still in existence. I've heard him say that, and you may believe that, but there were a lot of baby boomers, man. A lot of babies being made right after World War II. You cause damage to an anthill, then all of a sudden those ants have to produce a lot of eggs and babies. And that's what happened after World War II, ladies and gentlemen. And those kids bought a lot of comics. And they saved them their whole lives. So, anyway. Oh, shit. I mean, shoot. Look at this wonderful commercial. That's the wonderful world the baby boomers had to grow up in. Commercials like that on the air. I don't know. It's all just one lovable, fantastic comic book community. We should just accept all those people that put comics in plastic tombs. They're just wonderful people. They love the comics just like we do, except they don't really care about ever seeing inside them.
Just like Superman himself, he's made of tough blue plastic and has a bright red cape that fits on his shoulder. With your flying Superman,
Anyway, bad news about the Comic Book Memories show ending. It's actually going on right now. I'm watching these cartoons, but I'm recording them, but I'll watch the show later. But I was watching live when they made the announcement. Because, so, whoa. Okay, well, we're ready to start the show now. Where did I put my reading glasses? Oh no, they're not on my shirt. Where did I set them down? Oh, there they are, I see them. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, man, because I had this cataract surgery, which is partly what put us in this financial position. Car repairs, my wife losing her job, everything's falling apart. And I'm just thinking I could be one of these people with over 1,000 subscribers where people just put in little donations. What's up, Drew? You just ate. And, in the live chat, it's like, oh, thank you, blah, 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 for giving a $100 donation. But we've had some wonderful people, 3 or 4 people that have donated some great to help out with the GoFundMe I've got to try to help with my medical bills. And my wife's lack of job, and there's been some family helping out. So, anyway.
Wait a moment. I recognize her. It's
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen.
Mrs. sooner. I'm afraid.
Here's probably the 40th time I've shown this book here on this channel, but it's all right because we're all senile here and forget. It's a beat-up copy, but it is a copy of Marvel Tales #2 from 1965, and it has the origin of the Avengers, the X-Men, origin of Doctor Strange, and early Hulk story. Now, this is the story where the Hulk,
I hope they haven't damaged one another. Spare parts are hard to come by.
where the Hulk is in clown makeup.
Has anybody seen the minister?
See that
And
there?
where's the hotel tailor? The groom's suit hasn't arrived. They both probably left the country. Which is
Okay,
very
so
done. What are we going to do? Your worries on the suit are over.
Jacques Urbant,
My cousin Conrad is in the suit.
wonderful Canadian composer, was brought in to record the theme songs to the Marvel superheroes cartoons in 1966. That series started in September of 66. Batman went on the air in January of 66. A couple of days ago was the anniversary of the first episode airing on ABC. And then the superhero craze started, the camp craze. And so the Marvel superheroes were adapted into cartoons. You had Captain America, the Hulk, Submariner, Thor, and who am I leaving out?
Sorry it took so long, Baron. I had a little trouble getting the shoes.
Well, you know, 5 different characters. And but this Jacques Urbant's called in. He doesn't know who these characters are. Doesn't read comics, so I think they gave him a stack of comics to familiarize himself with these characters. He met with Stan Lee, and I'm pretty sure it was this comic from this comic he came up with the theme for the Hulk. Because there's a line in the Hulk theme where this woman with kind of a New Yorkish Betty Boop kind of accent says, "He's no monster clown who is as lovable as ever loving Hulk." And I always thought, well, what she's saying is, she's calling you a clown. He's no monster, you clown. You're a clown for thinking he's a monster. He's no monster, comma, clown. Who is as lovable as ever loving Hulk? No, it's because I've seen there's the PBS did an interview. It's on YouTube. If you type in Marvel superheroes themes, or I'll put a link in the chat down below, where they interview him as an older guy, and he plays and sings all the theme songs and he explains. And he says, well, in the comic books, the Hulk was often depicted as a clown. It's because he only saw this one comic. No, he wasn't, but that's why that's in the lyrics. This is fantastic. It's from 1965. It's not the original comics, because that would be thousands and thousands of dollars if you had the, Avengers one. But this is an expensive book too, though. But not maybe in this condition. But I wish I had Marvel Tales #1. That's a spectacular book as well. Anyway, Marvel Tales was in the late 70s when Lone Star Comics opened. I realized I wasn't going to be able to afford these old comics, a lot of these old comics. So I got the ones I could afford, like the ones that were cheap, like Tomahawk and Black Hawk, the comics from the 60s that nobody wants, Secret Six, it's like Inferior 5. And then I started getting some of the Fantastic Four books, but initially I would get the Marvel reprint books that were from the 60s because I couldn't afford the real books. But Marvel Tales would all through the later all through the 60s and 70s would reprint the earlier Spider-Man stuff. So that's how you would get yourself familiar with the Silver Age stuff. Because, you would see, when I started reading Spider-Man in the early 70s, okay, he's this, it was really kind of depressing because he'd be on a rooftop and it'd just be, if this hadn't happened, Gwen Stacy would still be alive. It was just all this angst and mourning for Gwen Stacy, which I think they never should have killed her. I agree with the Mexican comic company that was putting out the reprints of American Spider-Man comics, and they said, hey, can we just let her live and we'll just draw our own, write our own Spider-Man stories, and we'll just divert off on a different trajectory and keep Gwen Stacy alive, which is smart. She shouldn't have been killed off, but anyway. So the morose modern comics of the mid-70s and that clone story with the Jackal, and that was about when I was getting into it. And those were great. I loved them as a kid, but then I'd read Marvel Tales and see what Spider-Man was just maybe 7-8 years earlier, and I'd say, man, this is so much better. And so I like that time period. So anyway, whatever. You can pick these books up super cheap. And do we need more light? Rankin Bass. Saturday Superstar movie. This is Marvel Tales number 3. I don't know what it's like now, but a few years ago you could pick these up for $5 a piece. Maybe they've gone up in value, but the slabbing people don't want these. But, the people that, which is why I'll never have more than a couple hundred views on any video I ever put up. That's just the way it is, number 4. And I have traditionally been, I guess I don't talk enough to the people that put comments in the chat because I've had problems. Well, it started before I started this channel. I didn't really realize that things were getting brighter, and it was hard to look at the phone and read the little print, and I was developing cataracts. So I've had that surgery now, and I have these cheap glasses from the supermarket to read. Now, Friday I'll go and get prescription for glasses to see close up, but distance is good now. But as far as people would comment on my videos, and sometimes I wouldn't see it, or sometimes I would just say yes or thank you or put a smiley face, and people wanted more interaction. They wanted me to talk, because they're lonely, and I understand that. It was painful to look at the phone. And I remember one person that's used to watch, but he says, I'm not going to watch your channel anymore because I put a funny joke about Joe Biden. This is when Joe Biden was president. I put a funny joke about Joe Biden, and you didn't comment about it. You didn't laugh. Sorry, man. I please forgive me. If that guy's not watching, I guarantee he's not watching. He'll never watch me again. He used to leave these comments that went on. They must. I don't know how long a comment you can leave. Oh, Fireball XL5 is starting. Shoot. Well, I have all these on DVD. Anyway, I'm sorry. Then he would say, if this comment is too long, let me know. I'm sorry. It was never too long. It was hard for me to read. Oh, I guess I have 2 copies of number 4. Well, if you find one for a couple of bucks, you kind of have to get it. Here's Marvel Tales number 5. Now, see, what it does here is, excuse me, it's giving you all of, dang my eyes. It's giving you Spider-Man number 8. It's giving you Journey into Mystery, whatever that issue is. It's giving you an early Doctor Strange story and an Ant-Man story from. So it's an amazing bargain. That's issue 5. Issue 6 reprints the first Electro, and so it's giving you an entire full book of Spider-Man. It's reprinting the entire Spider-Man issue, and these other books had backup stories. So you're really getting a full book here, and then the other three are half books. So that would add up to 2.5 comic books for 25 cents, and a full comic is 12 cents back then. Oh, it's another copy of the same one. Okay, number 8. These are great. You know, it's okay. Issue 10. I'm missing. I'm missing number 9. I'm missing number 9. Ooh. This is from the Comic Box in Cleburne, Texas. I never remember ever being in Cleburne in my life. I might have been. I never remember going to that store, so I must have gotten this from someone that got it at the Comic Box. Ooh, my goodness. Here's one that's not bagged. Number 11. Let's look at it. Spidey battles Daredevil. So, you're still dealing with the Silver Age. So it's still that wonderful experience of reading a book from that time period with these bike decals, man. That skull, that flaming skull with the looks like a bullet hole, and that wolf. My childhood wagon, I still have it. It may be so rusted you can't see that there's 2 of these on each side on the back that my older brother put on. Ooh, ABC. Now that's a Saturday morning lineup. Man. Well, since it's a Marvel comic, it's out of order. They have Fantastic Four and Spider-Man like but it starts at 9 in the morning, which would be 8 Central, with Casper. And then at 9:30, they had Fantastic Four. At 10, Spider-Man. So it was Fantastic Four followed by Spider-Man. Now, I was 2 years old when this was so I don't remember this in first run. But of course, how many times have I seen all these cartoons over the years? Okay, so 10 o'clock, 10:30, Journey to the Center of the Earth. I've really only seen a few episodes of that. 11 was King Kong, which was actually animated over in Japan. And then they made a Japanese movie. There was a movie made based on this cartoon called King Kong Escapes, where the villain is the same villain that's in the cartoon Doctor Who, which no relation to the British Doctor Who. Okay, so that's 11. Then 11:30, George of the Jungle. Then at noon, which would be 11 o'clock Central, you've got the Beatles, and then right after that, it would lead into American Bandstand, which was weird when in Dallas, we moved there in 76. American Bandstand never aired. I don't know if it aired in the 60s. I mean, you had Soul Train, you had Hee Haw, but you never got to see. Why am I leaning over? Let me. I don't know why. I think. I don't know. I don't know why. Who knows why? So, Thor and Loki attack the human race. And it tells you originally presented in Journey into Mystery 94, July 1963. And this book came out November of 67. So that means September of 67, this was on the stands, this book. So, And this Spider-Man is September of 64. So these stories are about 3 years old. They're not ancient, but it really, in the 60s, how easy is it just to go out and get back issues? There aren't comic stores. Maybe if you live in big cities like Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, and there might be ways, but otherwise it's just a matter of finding other kids that have old comics and trade or borrow them. But this is a great way to get the old comics then in 1967 and now too, because looking at this, it's identical to looking at this original comic. You know, just visually, if I hold this up to you, you don't know if this is an issue of Marvel Tale. Oh, let me go to the Spider-Man story. You can't tell that I'm holding up Spider-Man number, what is it, 16, or if I'm holding it until I close it. You say, oh, that's Square Bound Marvel Tales. So it's a great experience, tactile, touching, smelling, the feel, the look. It takes you right back to that wonderful September 1967 or to September 63. 64 rather. Okay, so thinking, yeah. September 64, man. The Beatles are just hitting the United States. Wow. What a wonderful thing it was to be a baby boomer. I missed it by a year. I'm a year away from officially being a baby boomer, being born in 65. I think the cutoff is 64. Here's another copy in better shape. It's bagged and boarded. Here's 12. Now, at this point, they actually have a full image on the cover instead of a bunch of representation. Well, the last one did too. Representations, little representations of the cover. Spectacular. Now, at some point, I'll go and, well, I'm kidding myself. I'll probably never will. I would love to be able to fill in the issues I'm missing. But I say this, and we'll see what I can do. We're really in a desperate financial position. If anyone really enjoys this show and would care to help out a little bit, I wonder if there's a time in the week when I could do a regular live show. Since where I have guests, I stopped doing the live shows because it's my fault, I tended to go on for 10 hours or something ridiculous, which doesn't go over well in the household, and it makes it where people can't watch it, and comic book collectors are obsessive types. They want to watch the entire show, and they realize, I can't watch all of this guy's show, they're too long. And then they just give up and stop watching, and then you never see them again. But if someone would like me to revive the show, because it's a shame that Rod and Shannon aren't going to be doing it regularly. I don't know if I want to do it on a Saturday, but maybe someday during the week, or give me some suggestions down below. I don't want to capitalize on people that stop doing the show, and I wouldn't want to try to do it on Saturday morning, right? That would be pretty ghoulish and step in like that. But if anyone wants that, I don't know. I think I burned my bridges. I think most of those people hate my guts. So anyway, 13. But this is. I guess I'm gonna have to. I was talking in the last video that Kevin just had a guy come into his store he says, I've got a bunch of slab comics. Can I come in? And he says, well, I'll look at what you got. And the guy comes in, and he has a bunch of slab comics, he said, but he only picked out 3. Spider-Man 19 with this great cover. He picked up Ghost Rider #4. I think Kevin's keeping that. But it's beautiful red cover, but it says it's from the collection of Doug. I always pronounced it Moench as a kid when I read it, but I think it's pronounced Monk or Munch. I don't know. You tell me. I've never heard anyone pronounce it. But anyway, it's from an actual guy in the comic book industry's own collection. And I mean, it's not that he had anything to do with that issue of Ghost Rider. I don't think he did. But it's just from his collection, so it's got a pedigree. He got that, and he got another issue of Spider-Man later during the John Romita period in the 60s, where Spider-Man's tied back to back with J. Jonah Jameson on a chair and there's water rushing, whatever issue that is. He got that. So anyway, if you want this originally it had a white cover, and this I've always wanted this original issue of Spider-Man, because if you ever see they just had it playing a few minutes ago on this channel, but every episode of that Spider-Man cartoon, you would see this, remember, it would be this exact traced from this Ditko. In fact, this was a panel in the Spider-Man, and they just put it on the cover. You might have been late with a cover or something, but this was always spectacular. So it was always this. And every Saturday morning or whenever you were watching that cartoon. So anyway, if you're interested, he's got it in stock. He's got it about, I think he said $240, $250 for Spider-Man #19 slabbed in a 4.0. I said, man, if I was rich, I'd buy that, but I'd immediately break it out of the slab. And what I'm doing right now is I want to look at the interior of Spider-Man 19 the cheapskate way through Marvel Tales. So, because oh wow, what a beautiful, oh man, that's so beautiful. Here's the, look at that, man, fantastic. Okay, this is, they've got a Marvel Boy story in here. The great video, when video was a new term. Remember how a few years ago everything was high definition and digital? Well, video used to be like that, like Captain Video. Okay, so this issue 14 of Marvel Tales is from, May 1968, which means that you got to back it up 2 months. April. This would have come out in March of 68. At some point, it was sold for $1.50. You see that there? And it says HPB. That means half-price books. I probably paid double that. I probably paid $3, $4, $5 for this. But this is not, like I said, these are not desirable books to collectors. To me, they're desirable, and they give you so much fun. Oh, the memories I have being in junior high and picking these up, from Lone Star Comics, and being able to read these early stories before the Marvel Masterworks started coming out and everything. Okay, that was issue 14. Here's issue 15. Here's another 15. $16. Now this one, issue 17, I actually own the original Spider-Man comic that's being reprinted here. That's, I guess, my earliest Spider-Man comic. Issue 18. 19. That's the one where he has to go to a psychologist. He thinks he's going insane. 20. 21.
Are you there?
22.
Hey, what's going on here?
23. There's something about looking at these old books that really helps when you're really down in the dumps, you know. Things, like I said, things aren't going well here financially. Things are just... I don't know. We'll figure out a way. 23. 27. So I'm missing 24, 25, and 26. So that was 27, and then I'm missing 28 and 29. Here's 30. Now I could easily fix that by going to mycomicshop.com and pressing some buttons, but no, I can't, because I can't afford it, even if they're cheap. This is a reprint of the first appearance of Mary Jane. I have 2 copies of that. Just looking to see which one's in better shape. They're both in pretty good shape. 31. 32. And then here's 33. Another 33, another 33. Okay, and here's where the Bronze Age starts with 34. 35. Now at this point, sometimes you'd get a newly drawn cover. Here's 36, not bagged and boarded, and eventually I will. But it's really nice to just be able to pull a comic out and read it and have no barrier between 2026 and 1972, which is when this probably was printed, August of 72. And the original book that it's reprinting, 65. So this is a book from 1972, reprinting a book from 1965. So there's about a 7-year discrepancy. This is when the Ghost Rider is a brand new character. So I picked up the first appearance of Ghost Rider, but I didn't pick this up off the stands because I was only buying monster comics in 2nd grade when this came out. And I hadn't yet learned how wonderful Spider-Man was. See, the thing about it, having Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy together gave you that kind of Betty and Veronica thing with the competition. It was just a happier time. Wow, that's interesting. Look at this. You would have thought that was after the Batman series had started airing, but this is a little bit before then, because both Marvel and DC, well, really every company, started to play up the sound effects after they were visually shown in Batman. Oh, look at this. This is an ad for this issue. This issue, Kevin just got slabbed. So if you need I don't remember what condition it was. I think it was I don't know. You call him up and ask him. But if you need a slabbed copy of this issue here, which is issue number 52, that's right after Ditko left. Says, hey, hero, here's the original cover for this issue, exactly as it appeared so many months ago. So now it's so many decades ago. Yeah, this was just, like I said, there was a 7-year lag between the reprints here and...
You know, Professor, I'm still doubtful about this plan of yours.
Hold on. This is the Tomb of Dracula number 4 was coming out. So I bought Tomb of Dracula number 4. I was just saw that in the list. I bought Tomb of Dracula off the stand when we were living in Hampton, Virginia. So this book was probably right next to that. And I just didn't know about Spider-Man yet. I mean, I knew who Spider-Man was, but I had not been, I didn't have older brothers telling me, yeah, this Spider-Man's a great, because my older brothers, who were baby boomers, weren't into Marvel during the 60s. They were into DC. So I remember my older brother singing the Spider-Man theme years before I ever got to see the cartoon. This feels thick and stiff, telling me this is probably a Mark Jewelers. I might be wrong. I'm wrong. It's just higher quality paper of the Bronze Age. Here's the original front cover for this issue. This is the newly drawn cover. At this point, I have 2 copies of 38. 39. Looks like I have a bagged one and a boarded one. No, I'm sorry, a bagged and boarded one and one that's raw. Look who's smiling now. I should change the text to this. Make him a serial killer. It's the blood-curdling vampire bat. I think I had that exact same vampire bat, but I think it was obtained at a Stuckey's. Not through the mail order ad. Wow. Cool to see what records were popular. 39. That's like a double whammy of nostalgia because it makes me nostalgic for the early 70s when this book came out. But also, it gives me the great feeling for the 1960s when the story was originally printed. Yeah. This is still 1972, December of 72, reprinting still a 1965 comic. $40. 41. Eat the foods you love and still lose weight. I don't think that's possible. They don't understand what foods I love. I was at Dollar General yesterday, and I noticed they had this throwback Chips Ahoy in a package with the old style Nabisco logo and the old logo for Chips Ahoy. And apparently it was a tie-in with Stranger Things. So when you look at the package, part of it looks like it's burned away and it says Stranger Things. So I don't know if Chips Ahoy figure into the new season of Stranger Things, but they have a package out with halfway looks like the early 80s or 70s Chips Ahoy package, which I don't really remember, but I actually think I have that issue. Some of these I actually own the original issues. I remember this. This is also what network is this? This is an NBC. They would have these double page spreads for Saturday morning lineups. NBC. Now this throwback channel, it airs the Hound Cats, and it airs this. It's on Saturday. It was on this morning. The Barkleys. See it there? It's a dog version of All in the Family. This is a game show. I've never seen it. It has Jerry Mahoney, the ventriloquist puppet, but I always thought that looked like the back of Alfred E. Newman's head when I was a kid looking at this. C-Lab 2020. So they had Pink Panther, they had Underdog, which was already an older cartoon. Jetsons was it's like they have a lot of, the Pink Panther was theatrical cartoons. Then Underdog is a cartoon that was almost 10 years old, and the Jetsons was almost 10 years old. Hound Cats was new. Roman Holidays was their attempt. I think it was Hanna-Barbera. They'd already done the Stone Age, and they'd done the Future with Jetsons, and then the Stone Age with the Flintstones. And Roman Holidays was a family sitcom cartoon about ancient Rome. And then C-Lab 2020, I remember that, but I never really watched it. And this Runaround, I never watched. Around the World in 80 Days, I never watched that. Talking with a Giant, I never watched that. Kids Rap with a different famous guest every week. Nope. So, but it's, this book's had some moisture damage in its past, but I have only one copy of it, so that's the way it is. 42. I know I have this original copy of this issue. 43. What a beautiful cover they've designed for this one. Shit, is it time for... What time is it? Oh, shit. Oh, crap. What's supposed to come on next? Hold on a second, ladies and gentlemen. Oh crap, Spectre Man starting. Oh crap. I didn't act quick enough. I want to record Spectre Man, and so it takes a while for the disc to get recognized by the DVD recorder. So, Spectre Man. I'm going to miss the opening credits. It's all right, I guess. Back then, they just let the original shows play. It was a Japanese show. You got to see the original Japanese actors. With Power Rangers, they would only show you the action scenes, and then whenever they took off their masks, they filmed new scenes with horrible American actors. And anyway, who cares? 44. I've got a ton of new music that I need to play, but I don't know. It's hard for me to get a radio show ready with all of this entertainment. See, after this, Ultraman's going to come on. Spectreman, Ultraman, then they've got the Green Hornet, and then they're going to show Varan, the Unbelievable, the movie. It's like, well, you can't stop. Okay, I have 3 copies of 44, and then I don't have 45. Here's 46. I don't have 47. I have all of this stuff in the Marvel Masterworks hardcover editions. And this one, I have the original copy of this one, but as I recall, it's got a chunk gone from the cover. Here's 49. See, at this time, this is a reprint of an issue. Well, it says copyright 65. How many? Maybe it is February. This issue came out in February of 74. I think this is a little bit later than 65, this original one. So they give you the date that this comic book came out, and then it gives you a copyright date, which usually is the date of the original publication of the story. 49, 49, 50. '51. Now, I once did a comparison of this with the original comic, which I have, and I noticed that a couple of faces had been redrawn in the crowd to look more 70s and less 60s, it seems like. I'm not really sure why they did it. '51. I've got the Spider-Man comics here. We could look at my Spider-Man collection after this. Here's 52. This one's in really nice shape. This is reprinting Spider-Man 69. Okay, so that's 52. There's another one. 53. 54.
The planet Earth. The city, Tokyo. Like all cities on the face of this planet, Tokyo is losing the battle against man's deadliest enemy.
Okay, so they've started the Foom fan club. I was a member of Foom. I sent off for that. Okay, we're in the 25-cent time period. Oh, okay. This is the very first copy of Marvel Tales ever bought. This is... Hold on. Damn. I've got 2 copies and they're not bagged and boarded, so I don't know which one's my childhood copy. That's terrible. But anyway, either this one or the other one's my childhood copy. That's not good. I like to know which one is the one I've held on to for all these years. But this is right after I discovered how good Spider-Man is. And I first discovered Fantastic Four. Then I discovered Spider-Man. And then Origins of Marvel Comics was coming out, and I got that, and I got this calendar, and so this is right about the time that I became aware, and this is my exposure to the old Spider-Man, and the first Spider-Man comic that it was right about the time that Harry Osborn found Spider-Man's suit in a drawer because they were roommates, and he set a bomb to blow up Peter Parker, like he rigged the door to their dorm room or their apartment. It was right about that time. Right about this time. What are we looking at? February 75, so that means it was really, so that would be, this would have come out around Christmas of 74, and but the Fantastic Four I got into first. So that would have been really the beginning of 4th grade was my awakening to the Marvel superheroes. 3rd grade would have been all the Marvel monsters and stuff. And here's the other copy. I have a feeling this is not my childhood copy because even as a kid, I made sure this was lined up. I call it being anal retentive, whatever. See, that looks more like what I would have chosen, unless it was the last one on the spinner rack. And again, you'll have to forgive me for not having these bagged and boarded. It's just a matter of finances. Here's 60. Another copy of 60. 61. 62. 63. 64. I think by this point we'd moved to Tacoma, Washington. I think. Still the wonderful Gwen Stacy years. There's another 64, 65. Okay. And that's that. Let's see what's in this big box over here. I got some oversized things. Oh, wow. This was done by Joe Riley, the creator of the Hypnotic Eye Show. This was done as a pinup for my magazine, The Sophisticate. So he's written, this is original art. I should have this framed. Joe Riley, 95. So they're looking on disapprovingly. So this was Joe Riley, good friend of mine. I've got these really oversized stuff. Like this is bigger by far than a treasury. So I have it in here. It's a Basil Wolverton. It's, man. Foop Goop Frolics. Frivolous fables to foment frenzy. He was still alive at this point, reprinting some of his old stuff. This at some point was $15 at Half Price Books, and it's pretty much printed the actual size of the original art. And so at this point, I think he just stopped doing plop maybe when he put this out. I'm not sure where this was sold, in early comic stores. Maybe it was sold in head shops next to the Underground Comics. That's actually was done for his illustrated Bible stories. That's maybe the future of, it's probably next weekend at this rate. The great stuff, man. Let's see what the actual date is on this. Basil Wolverton's Foop Goop Funnies, Frolics rather, 1975. And this was put out by Glenn Bray, who's probably the biggest collector of Basil Wolverton stuff alive. He was a good friend of my friend Tom. This is Comic Scene, which later became Media Scene, and then it became Preview. This was a Jim Steranko publication. At this point, it was all about comics and science fiction, but it's gigantic. Again, it's bigger than a treasury, so I have to have it in this box here. Here's the cover to my childhood Enterprise model kit that I cut off. It's the model kit. I could never get the pontoons, whatever those engines, I don't remember what the engine. If you'd asked me in 3rd or 4th grade what those engines were called, I would have been able to tell you, but I don't know what they're called now. Do you know who this is? Do you recognize this lady? Jean Rogers. Now, you know her from the Flash Gordon serial. Of course, she had blonde hair. Of course, in the original Flash Gordon, Alex Raymond comic strip, she had hair like that. So they should have left her like that, but they made her blonde. It's okay. I forgive. The Flash Gordon serial is so great. I forgive that minor change. And then I've got some of this stuff was a gift from my friend Jim Conrad. He just gave me a lot of his stuff when he was downsizing. This is a newspaper filled with underground stuff. I better be careful what I show. It's and they even have old reprints of Little Nemo. This is probably sold in San Francisco at Here's an article about the Outer Limits down there. They show the Outer Limits. They're going to show an episode tonight on this this channel here. Here's another episode, another issue of the Funny Pages. And I just got all kinds of stuff in here. It's like a picture book, The Friendly Animals. This is the kind of stuff I like. I'm sorry if it's not comic book related. I just have stuff in here that won't fit anywhere else. What else do I have here? Oh, look at this. Hedy Lamarr and the Strange Woman. I've never seen this movie. There's some, those, you know, those antique stores where they got little booths where people tear pages out of old magazines and sell them. You know, they just, instead of selling the magazine, they rip it apart to sell individual pages, especially if they're movie ads. So that's where I got that from. And I guess you're supposed to frame it, which I would love to frame it. Here's a folder you could keep your homework in at school back when things were groovy. Okay. What else is in here, man? Some calendars. Here's a nice picture. That should be framed. This is a calendar from 2014 of pictures of New York, but what I really, it's amazing. I love the pictures of New York, but my favorite one is this one. You know, and I'm not going to be like someone that would, let's see. I don't want to tear it apart and frame this picture, but isn't that great? Okay. But, you know, if you save calendars long enough, you can use them again because they, like every year, you know, it's the same as, I don't know, different years. Anyway, different, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? There's some, you can learn how to play guitar with this. Thundering guitars with a solid beat. And then I've got some bags and boards for whenever I get something big. Maybe a treasure, these treasury reprints will. And then this was a big thing, bigger than a treasury. It's just called Destroy. I think they printed it in a smaller form too, but it's just nothing but destruction and violence throughout the whole comic. Kind of a parody of, I don't know. You don't care. Well, Kevin heard from Mike, the guy that had all that great stuff, radio premiums and comic books. We got a bunch of stuff from his collection, and he moved to Thailand, and turns out he's come back. He had some health issues that forced him to come back. So he's back in the United States, and he was just getting out of the hospital for pneumonia. So anyway, he's getting better, but he wants to go fishing. So just say a prayer for him and for everybody. Let's just pray in general. Stay in a constant state of prayer. Just keep an open, you know, like a walkie-talkie, just open hotline, because, you know, it's just important, because I think, and I keep giving you this advice, but I keep forgetting. It's like I need to pray more about the situation I'm in, the financial situation. When I do, whoa, things happen, you know, and like the wonderful 3 or 4 people that stepped in to help me with the GoFundMe thing. man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Oh man, Drew, you just ate. I'm gonna have to go get her some food. Okay, what did I not show you? Marble. Oh, here's more Marble Tales down here. After a while, Marble Tales started reprinting the stuff that I already had, you know, and then but then at a certain point in the 80s, or was it the 90s, Marble Tales started to go back and reprint, starting with Amazing Fantasy 15. Drew, hold on, Drew. I always speak in tongues when I'm lifting comic boxes. Okay. Okay, so let's keep going. This issue reprints an issue I have. I might not have had it when I first got this issue, but at some point I did get it with how wonderfully they used to draw the Black Widow. Damn. Marvel Con 76. You asked me why I don't like the comics of today. The comics of today don't look like that. Wow. There's some sagging in this box. I think I know what I'm going to do. I've got some comics over here just sitting on top of a pinball machine. And until I get them sorted and put into where they're supposed to be, I'm going to put them in the back of this box. Because this box is just not full enough. Oh man, it's not even noon. I thought it was 2 or 3 and I thought it was about 3 or 4. I seriously did. There's so much on this throwback channel that I lose track of time. Okay. Okay, I'll put this Adventures of Jerry Lewis in. The Superboy, there was a good suggestion from Easy Comic Reader. I want to call him Sam the Sham. I made a suggestion on that comic book show, the Saturday morning comic book memory show, because he comes up with parody lyrics and then Rod and Shannon sing it. And I said, I have a request. I want to hear Easy Comic Reader sing a Sam the Sham song. But I think they misunderstood, and instead he made them sing a Sam the Sham song. I'm just saying that Easy Comic Reader would make a great Sam the Sham impersonator. I'm telling you, his voice is perfect for it. Sam the Sham went to the college I went to. Well, he went to it when it's called Arlington State College. I went to it, it was called UTA. But oh man, there's this tear and this tear, which is why I got it for $3. But he suggested using some Mod Podge, which I think I have in the garage. Mod Podge I would put on paintings to give them a sheen. That's what Joe Riley taught me about, the Hypnotic Eye guy. He was a painter and he taught me to use Mod Podge But you could also, people that build, that put puzzles together and then want to keep them once it's built, to keep it, put it on a wall and not have to take it apart and rebuild it. They put Mod Podge on it. He said Mod Podge would seal that. I was thinking, shit, just put tape on it. But that feels blasphemous, really, to put tape on it. But I got to do something about that. I did not know it was that badly damaged when I got it. This may have been a comic that I bought, even though I already own. These are books I got recently, which at that point I didn't realize the financial crisis that was about to hit us, and I spent over $100 on these books, and then, oh boy, I just don't even want to think about ever going back to that Collectomania place. I'll never set foot back in that place again in my life. It was just, it created such a problem. Just say it was only a little over $100. Well, maybe it was $150. And I think, well, I worked so hard, I should be able to spend it. No, that was a big mistake. It's, feast or famine, man. I just, my wife and myself, but we just didn't see the job, her job, just ghosting her and just disappearing. But I'll figure out something. Maybe I get some job on the weekends. I won't be able to do the show, but if I could watch David Nino Rodriguez live on YouTube, or David Wilcock, and he'll just be talking. So, oh, thanks for the $200 donation. Oh, thanks. I was like, man, that's the life. You just get on YouTube and talk, and people just give you, just send you money. But it's not easy either. It is working. It's not just like, oh, you're doing nothing. You're actually providing entertainment for people, and so I'm putting this stuff in here to fill this box better. Let me give you a sense of what I'm dealing with. There was room here to put some more books in the back. So we'll do this temporarily, and then I'll forget these books are there, and then I'll never find them again. And then so we paid. It kind of all started with that Obama era stuff where both my wife and I have health insurance, and then my wife filled out the tax form the year before last, and it said we sent it in and everything, and they charged us money. I always used to get money back, and we paid this big amount. It's like we really suffered to pay it, and then it turned out we paid that because they never asked my wife on whatever program she used if we had health insurance, and then they penalized us for not having health insurance because that was part of that Obamacare. If you don't have health insurance, you got to pay this massive penalty, and we paid the penalty, and we shouldn't have had to, and so that stunk. Oh, I think I know where to put these little kids' books, though. I think I've got a box for them here. So that was, so we've got to go to some tax preparer and get them to help us fill out the form to get that money back. But it just started spiraling from there, and then we're just kind of living from week to week, and then I buy stuff, but it's all part of the problem. But anyway. But I watch these happy people on YouTube. It's like, hey, Gee, I just spent $8,000 on this. What a bargain. It's such a steal. It's like, you son of a... Yeah, but I'm sure they're doing important computer jobs that are making our lives better. And they're able to have, hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend every... Did I already show you this shit? Every week to show you all their wonderful hauls. It's like, my haul is so big, I'm going to devote 40 episodes to my comic haul. And here's the commercial. This episode's just going to be a preview of the haul of the next 40 videos, what you'll see in them. This is a reprint of the... Oh, look at that. It has the comics code, but the original issue that came out didn't have the comics code. I guess they had realized, well, we're not going to... That's interesting. The reprint didn't have it. Oh, remember this ad on the inside front cover? Man, that was exciting. Waiting for that movie, and then I saw the movie. It's like, man, that's not cool. I got played. But then, a few months later, Star Wars came out, and we forgot about how we were ripped off by Dino De Laurentiis. My gosh, those eyes. Looks like Milwaukee, doesn't it? 81. None of these have bags and boards. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Ah, Gil Kane doing the pencils. Fantastic. Originally presented in Spider-Man 103 and 104. How'd they fit 2 issues in here? They must have been doing some editing. That doesn't sound right. So I have 82, and then it looks like I'm missing from 82 to 106. I guess why am I missing those? Do I have the original issues? Here's 107. Okay, 108. We're up to 1979. The comics they're reprinting here are from about 1973. It looks like. Here's 109. Oh wait, these are all out of order. Here's 114. That's what it is. These are out of order. Why are they out of order? I ask you. Okay. Okay, I was wondering. That seems completely weird. Okay, okay. This is some weird show. I don't know what the hell this is. It's not Jerry Anderson. It's after Star Wars came out. It's kind of interesting. Everyone looks like a weird doll. I've got to research it. I'll have to look at Wikipedia. What's the name of the show? I don't know. Something. Okay, 83, 84. Okay, here we go. 85. 86. We'll get these in order. It's a good thing I went through these. 87. 88. Almost looks like his face is on upside down. Would he look better this way? I don't know, man. Maybe not. Okay, 88. 89. 90. 91. 92. 93. See, this is where it becomes kind of like a job. 94. I guess we should look inside. Yeah. Gwen Stacy's still alive, so it's still cool. course, I had to discover Spider-Man after they killed off Gwen Stacy, but 95. At least I had these books to remind me of what it used to be like. 96. This one, I think, is a reprint of a reprint. I believe this one reprints an issue of Spider-Man that reprints the 1968 magazine of Spider-Man that was put out to kind of compete with Jim Warren's. This was originally. Most of this was originally in a black and white magazine. That's why it looks a little bit differently laid out. There's more shading because originally this was printed in black and white. Nice. I think they're reprinting those two Spider-Man magazines that came out. This is okay. Here we're getting to the point where they kill off Gwen Stacy. 98, 99.
Commander Makar of the Imperial Alliance hovers in an alien battle cruiser over Starfleet Command.
Oh, this is the one that
F-01. There is a time limit.
they adapted for the Power Records book and record set. 102, 103. This is a reprint of the first Spider-Man comic I got. That's the first issue I got, but I didn't buy it. My mother bought it when I was homesick from school. She picked up this issue of Spider-Man because I never really read it because I wasn't that interested in it. But then maybe a few months later, I discovered, within 5 or 6 issues after this, I discovered Spider-Man, and then I started buying them on my own. And then I went back and reread this issue. It's like 128 or something, the original one. Here's 105. That really looks like Minneapolis, doesn't it? 115. Oh, wait. Here's where I need to put these issues in. You know, I guess I stopped buying these because they were then reprinting issues that I had the originals of, and it didn't make any sense. The 106 I did not have. Or whatever the original issue with the Punisher, whatever number it was. I used to know that. 108. It's kind of interesting that the Punisher became a popular hero when he was introduced as a villain. I don't think that was their original intention. And what I've always found funny was those 90s issues of the Punisher Armory, where it's just nothing but pictures of weapons. It's not even a story. It's just pictures of guns. 115. Okay. So then 138, they go back and start with Spider-Man #1, reprinting the Ditko years. And it looks like I didn't get every issue of it because I already had the Marvel Masterworks, but I pick them up sporadically. These would be altered somewhat. Like Aunt May would be saying, I need to get home and watch the Beverly Hillbillies. And then they would, because it was originally printed in the early 60s. And then in the 70s reprint, they just changed the text where she's talking about, I need to get home and watch the Dukes of Hazzard. Little changes like that to try to, I don't know, I guess they think they're fooling kids into thinking that these are new stories, because obviously they weren't, because no comic in 1980 looked like this with text blocks like that and stuff. I wish they did. Okay, 150 reprints an annual. Oh, here's a copy that's not bagged and boarded. Wow, Jack Davis art. Here's where this is the death of comics here. This, not that it's not Jack Davis, but the comics are advertising what will replace them. They're advertising video games. And after video games came in, there was no need. In fact, here Marvel did a book called Blip about video games. Yeah, kids no longer had any desire to read comics after video games came in. And I don't know, they're still publishing comics. So I guess you say, well, how are they dead? Well, they're dead with kids. They're being bought by older people that they've just never stopped buying them. 153.
Something is calling me away from here.
155.
Myself over and over that I can't be a single one.
156. I'm showing the least valuable. Oh, here's the book that Kevin just got. But it originally had a white background, and then when it was reprinted in Marvel Tales early on, it had a yellow background. Now it has this purplish background. But it's that same issue. Again, if you're needing a copy of a 4.0 copy of Spider-Man number 19, it's available at Gotham City Comics. 158. People would rather, ironically, most people, unless they're really wanting a particular issue, would rather buy comics that aren't slabbed so that they can slab them and then quadruple or make multiples of their money, because once it's slabbed, it has more value to people. Again, video game ad. So sometimes when a book is slabbed, it can just sit there. But video game ad. But I think Spider-Man 19, someone's going to want that. It's just got such a iconic cover with the Spider-Man swinging towards you that everyone knows that image from even people that don't read comics, from seeing the cartoon on TV. More video games. And apparently they never reprinted Spider-Man 29 before in Marvel Tales. They must have skipped over it. This is their ballyhooing here. This is the first time they've reprinted that issue. Okay, Marvel Tales 169. I have that issue. I have the original issue. 170. Looks like I have a couple of copies of that. 172 reprints a really great issue. Really one of the 174. 175. 176. 177. You can definitely see the influence of the Batman TV show there. Isn't that pathetic? Look how they just cover up this classic Steve Ditko art with this hideous drawing of the black suited Spider-Man. Man, dumb, stupid. It's all right. I forgive you. Here's 178. Here's a copy that's not bagged and boarded. Ooh, the colors are a lot brighter. I think they were printing at a different printing plan or something at this point. Colors are brighter at this point. What year is this?
I am most grateful to you, Doctor.
I think that says 85. 178.
If it turns out that it's
179. Yeah, the comics were printed really nicely about this time. 180. 181. Ooh, here's one that's not bagged and boarded.
What do we tell them? If we say there's no computer response, they won't believe us.
That's right.
Just fantastic. 182, again, this is a reprint of the first Mary Jane, which I got from Kevin at Gotham City Comics about a year or two ago. And so it was reprinted twice in Marvel Tales. 183. 191. 192. Again, this is They originally printed the Gwen Stacy death. It was reprinted, and this is the second time they reprinted the Gwen Stacy death. Then they started reprinting old issues of Marvel Team Up. Here's 206. Looks like 209. They're reprinting the first appearance of the Punisher again, because at that point he was super popular, and it looks like they're just putting the Punisher in every issue at this point. Okay, here's a reprint from Marvel Team Up with a cameo from the Punisher. Yeah, the Punisher became the guy that would sell comics at this point. 215. See, the Punisher never goes away. It used to be they would use Spider-Man to sell books that weren't selling, but at this point, it's the Punisher. 216. 217. I don't know how long this comic went, but 218. Yeah, the Punisher is more prominent. That's Peter Parker. Doesn't look like him, but yeah, it pretty much became a Punisher book. Sad. And 225 reprints the death of Captain Stacy. 264. Ugh, what the heck is that? Who drew this abomination? I can't even read the signature, probably intentionally. I mean, that just looks horrible. Is it Charlie Brown dressed as Spider-Man? Like he's got a balloon head. The body is hideous. Watch it be an artist I like, and I'll embarrass myself. I don't know. How could that be an artist I like? I mean, this art in the back is clearly John Romita, but that is, I don't know what kind of clown drew that. But now they're reprinting hideous black-suited Spider-Man stuff. Ugh, I don't really want. Why is that in my collection? And then I guess they started Marvel Tales again with Fantastic Four #1. I don't know even what that is. All right, let's open it up and see. This bag is disgusting. Disgusting, I tell you. Oh, I see. This is actually pretty interesting. It's a really thick comic, and it reprints all of this. Well, I don't know why. I guess it. Why do they do this? Okay, they reprint a John Byrne story that's recent, and then they reprint an older. It's on slick paper and everything. Oh, I think that was the logo they used for the cartoon in the 90s. The cartoon in the 90s had a really crummy first season and a really great second season. So I think this was put out to try to sell to kids watching that cartoon, if I'm not mistaken. No, this says March 20. I can't read that. Why can't I read that? This isn't. Why is 2018, mate? Does that say 2018? Well, let me find an ad, and it says Marvel 80 years. Yeah, it's 2019. So yeah, this is from 2018. So this is pretty recent. Last 6 years, 6 years ago. I had no idea. Okay, well, that's incredible. Have I provided enough content for this episode? An hour and 40 minutes. We looked at that. We looked at that. Oh, I know what we need to do. Let's look at my 60s Spider-Man comics. Looks like this box starts with Adventure Comics, but I must have the earlier Adventure Comics in another, yeah, I have them in another box. The one that, the previous box. Hold on. Lots of Adventure Comics. Oh, I could probably get that Jerry Lewis book in here. Okay, this is Bob Hope. This is filed because it's Adventures of Bob Hope. These monster covers are fantastic. Hold on. Let's get to the Spider-Man stuff. Okay. Has some discipline. Amazing Spider-Man 22. That's my earliest Spider-Man. Is that what I told you earlier? 32. I'd wanted a copy of this since I was in 4th grade, and I went over to a friend of mine's house, and he had a copy of this. And I remember that little inset picture of Aunt May, and I finally got a copy of this just a few years ago. It says 4.0, small tear, back cover, $60. I think I got it for half price, or there was some discount at Duncanville Books. I think there was. So that's issue 32. Yeah, he had this friend of mine had these comics that surprisingly had been handed down from his mother. And I remember he had an early 50s Korean War era G.I. Joe comic. And I remember that. And I remember he had that issue of Amazing Spider-Man. They weren't in very good shape, but it was fascinating to me back then seeing them. Oh, wow. I forgot I had this issue, 38. I think I must have gotten this from Captain Strangelove. I think so. I don't know. 38. I didn't know I had that. I forgot. This is my issue of 42 that I got from Kevin with the first Mary Jane Watson appearance. And this is issue 48. Beautiful cover. I like the gray buildings in the background. Almost looks like a photograph. That's 48. Here's 50. I know I got this one from Captain Strangelove.
What are you doing? Please do not attack the Earth people. I am F-01. I am the one that you seek. Do not.
Yeah, well, there was a day where all the banks in the world went down for a few hours. There was about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. It affected. Anyway, we sent payment to Captain Strangelove for this, and then he never got the payment. It just disappeared, and the bank had no record of the money. It just disappeared into the void. So I sent him another. So I actually, I actually paid twice for this, but it's not his fault. It's just the fact that, yeah, that probably wasn't very smart. That wasn't good. That was about the time that the roof got damaged. We're still paying off the roof. We still got 2 more payments of $350 a month to pay off the deductible for the gigantic price of replacing all the siding and the roof for something that was probably done by design, the weather manipulation. But, you could say I'm crazy, but there's a lot of weird weather that happened during Joe Biden's presidency. But they're still doing the chemtrails. I wish that they could call that off. 55. 57. I guess I've got more than I realize of these early issues. 58. But I still wish I had more. 59. See, I told you I had the original of that. 62. I always loved this cover. Always loved the character Medusa. Look at how they wrote VG right next to the 2 and 62. Lone Star Comics. There was an Inhumans TV series that was terrible and unwatchable. That was really the beginning of the decline of Marvel. Then the Eternals, and it was just, yeah. But anyway, I believe in the first episode, they within 10 minutes they cut off Medusa's hair because they didn't. Some bad guy, I think, cuts off all her hair so that they don't have to ever do the CGI to show her hair moving around. You imagine? This is a copy of 64. It's not in the best of shape. It's signed, but by no one famous. It's just, I think the owner of this comic developed a signature that kind of looks like Bill Everett's signature. It says Reuben something. It really does look like it's someone famous, but there's no one involved. It's interesting. Yeah, here's 65. 66. 68. Where did I get that box? I'll show you. Hold on. Man. I'll show you how they redrew the cover. Might as well. 68, huh? Come on. Here we go. Watch me be wrong. Okay, a lot of it's the difference in coloring. Okay, so, well, hold on. So she's more of a, this girl's more of a redhead, and then more of a blonde, and then the colors are all changed. They're not trying to mimic the original colors. And the man, the 70s version has these beads, but it's not on the 60s version. Why would they make that change? Let me see which faces are different. It's pretty much the same illustration. It's mainly the coloring. Oh, they put beads on, where is that idiot? See, there's beads on this guy too, and not on the original guy. Oh, there's the original guy. See, he's got a sweatshirt on in the 60s version. Coloring job's better on the 60s version, and they updated it for the 70s, but actually made it more dated. To me, I think it looks better with the sweatshirts as opposed to the guys with the beads. Anyway, so, and inside I went through it once because everything's in there, because I heard that sometimes in these reprint books they edit out panels, or sometimes they drop an entire page, because the original books had more pages than they did later, so they would edit pages out, just like when you watch old sitcoms or old episodes of Star Trek. They'll cut about 5 minutes out or 7 minutes out and hope you won't notice, because they want to put in the maximum amount of commercials allowed by the FCC, unless you get them on DVD. That's why the old shows, collections of old shows on DVD were so appealing to people that knew about it, that they were doing so much editing and And I didn't want to watch the Addams Family and the Munsters and Star Trek and all my favorite shows from when I was a kid, edited by Ted Turner or whoever. It's issue 82. Here's 86. I'm starting to get hungry. Ooh, this one's in terrible condition, 87. It's been soiled. Here's 88. Yeah, Comic Tom 101 tells you there's just aren't any copies below issue 100 of The Amazing Spider-Man that haven't been slabbed. They're all slabbed now. So you can look at the census and know how many exist. And that's just not true. Here's 96. See, it didn't have the comics code. It involved this guy jumping to his death on drugs. And it was an anti-drug issue, but you weren't supposed to mention drugs at all. And here's issue 100. This is another one I got from Kevin at Gotham City Comics. Here's not a real 101 with the first Morbius. It's a facsimile, but it's the old style facsimiles they used to do in the 90s. When Morbius came back, and I guess they had a hideous comic in the 90s. It was really ugly looking. I guess it was popular. People liked it. This is a fake facsimile from recent years, reprinting this Spider-Man annual number 1 from 1964. And here is fake annual number 3. No, it's not fake. It's real. What am I saying? I want to say everything's fake now. No, this is a legitimate, real copy of Spider-Man annual number 3. Yeah, sorry. I'm just used to everything being fake. Here is Spider-Man annual number 5, but this is a facsimile done by J.C. Penney back in the 90s. They did about a dozen Marvel comics, and they look identical from if this just had, the Green Hornet's starting. If they just had this bagged and boarded, it would be indistinguishable. The colors and everything are accurate to the original. It has the original price, everything. But if you see the back, you see it's got a 1990s ad. It's not period. I wish they'd reprint them. They had reprinted them completely the way they were, but then it would have been real hard to distinguish them from the originals. Here's annual or special number 6. Sometimes they would call them specials, and sometimes they call them annuals. Not sure why that happened. Here's number 8. And then I've got some Silver Age Spanish ones, but these actually may have been printed in the 70s, but they're reprints of 60s issues, so I throw them in with my 60s comics. El Asombroso Hombre Araña. And this pinup that I'm sure you want to put on your wall right next to your picture of Farrah Fawcett. Yeah, this is very much 70s. Could be even 80s when this was reprinted. Let's see. We can... Well, that dates it because it has Spider-Woman in it. Ya viene. What does that mean? Alerta. That probably means pay attention. Daredevil is Diabolico. Destructor del Crimen. It's basically the devil, destroyer of crime. Peligroso, intrepido, increíble. Ya está a la venta. Now, it looks like it's $7, but that's money from Mexico, so it's probably equivalent. Is there a year ever mentioned in any of these ads? Apparently not. Oh well. I'll do another episode where we look at the Jerry Lewis and Bob Hope. I'm getting hungry, man. Here's Angel and the Ape.
MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get my towels for $39.98. My Pillow bed sheets only $29.88.
I don't have many of them, but in my entire life, the only times I've ever encountered these books, I bought them. So I guess I've only seen Angel and the Ape 3 times. That's a great cover, isn't it? Let's get a better shot of that. They would always put monsters on the cover to sell them. Anthro is a caveman superhero. Looks like I only have one copy of Anthro. Aquaman is a comic I dearly love. There's no cover on that. This one looks like this is going to be a facsimile. No, it isn't. It's real. It's Aquaman number 16. I think there was a facsimile of one of these Aquamans recently. Not sure why. I've got more than a few coverless Aquamans. All the ads are old ads on this channel, except for this detox and treatment hotline, and for Mike Lindell's MyPillow.com. Those are the only real ads. I might have seen one other, but see, they're going after Man from U.N.C.L.E. because they got the OGRE, Ogre. Oh, neat. A date stamp, September 8th, 1966. See? Date stamps are really cool. Those people that slab comics probably hate them. The people that love comics as a medium realize that's so amazing to know the exact day. Sometimes they'll tell you if it's morning or afternoon by putting AM or PM that it went onto the stand. I think that's neat. Did I just show you that one? Why, yes, I have 2 copies of it. Tomorrow they'll probably show Aquaman episodes on this channel. On Saturday they show Marvel superheroes around 9 o'clock Central or 10. Maybe it was, I don't know if it was 9 or 10 this morning. And on Sundays they show DC. I'm trying to figure out their patterns. Tonight at midnight or somewhere around midnight, they're going to show a Japanese Spider-Man episode.
See if there's any truth to it.
Okay. How about that? How about that, ladies and gentlemen?
She ought to know whether or not was going to marry Sabrina.
Okay. All right, let's look at this. What's in this Hulk box? It's not going to be Hulk books, I guarantee you. Because those are somewhere else. Oh, this is where I put them. Okay. This is where I put like Marvel romance and Marvel humor. I've been trying to find this box. But since it's in a Hulk box, I guess I thought I'll just remember but where I put but no, I won't. Okay, look at this. My Love 28. It's a 25-cent book. But earlier, here's Our Love number 16. It's a 20-cent book. So this is earlier. This is the earlier. And then see how they reuse the art, but they color it differently.
Perhaps I could leave a message.
Yes, of course.
Anyway.
Yes, I'll see that he gets it. Thank you very much.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? There's about 4 people on the planet Earth out of 8 billion people that could care less about that. But the thing that's really great about this, to me, you realize that looks just like you're looking at a Spider-Man comic. Same artist, John Romita, so that's fantastic. To me, that's fantastic. I don't know the story on the 30-cent price tag on there. Some store somewhere. I have 2 copies of this issue. Yeah, once comic books were also aimed at girls, and there were romance comics and there were Archie comics, and this is Marvel's attempt to make an Archie comic. It looks pretty much exactly like an Archie comic because they would use the same artist. But and they're so wonderful. They're so the colors. They're bright. They evoke a different time period that's so wonderful. The fashions, everything. The drawings are so cute and beautiful. This is just, I just wish I had all of them, but it's never gonna happen. This was a high price. I think I got it cheaper, but at Duncanville Books, they had this for $35, and then up here it says 8.5. That means they graded it at an 8.5, and it is a very nice copy, and it is a great, astronaut cover. But all their chilies were in really good shape, and they were going for around $30. And I thought, man, those are probably $5 books. That's what they always used to be, if even that. But, I have another one. This one's not in as good a shape. But, and I realized I can't ever afford to buy those. The prices are just too high. Crazy number 1. This is a Marvel comic from the early 70s that reprinted Not Brand Ech. And of course, Not Brand Ech is one of my favorite comics of all time. And it's from that same time period in the 20-cent era where they were advertising this Saturday morning lineup. And there's this great ad also, I remember, for Corgi with this fantastic ad with the dragons and the monsters. I remember this time period so much, but I never remember seeing this comic Crazy on the stands. Now, I have another copy of this that is bagged and boarded. And then here's Crazy number 2. I have 2 copies of this. Neither one is bagged and boarded. That's blasphemy. I can't believe it. Anyway, this is Marie Severin doing this Spider-Man story. Fantastic. But the one that changed my life, I traded or I paid a kid, I don't remember. He had this book, and I traded him for it. And it was one of the worst conditioned books I've ever. I no longer have it, but it was this issue, Crazy number 3, that reprints, I think, Not Brand Ech number 6, and it has the origin of a parody of the origin of Superman and the parody of the origin of the Fantastic Four, and the origin of the Fantastic Four is panel for panel parody of the first issue of Fantastic Four. In fact, enough that they just put Kirby, they list him as an artist, even though it's really, and it says aided and abetted by Marie Severin. Basically, Marie Severin drew this, and then Tom Sutton, the great Tom Sutton, inked it. But it's basically like Marie Severin looked at each panel, maybe even traced over it and drew her style over it. See, that is, it's even got James Bond. There's Sean Connery there as a New York policeman. It's just, every panel's brilliant. Kevin will like this panel if I haven't already shown it. It shows the Thing is trying to find masks so he can disguise how ugly he is. And he goes to a guy who looks like Uncle Creepy in a mask shop. And you can see the masks behind him. He's got a mask of Elvis Presley. Looks like the creature from the Black Lagoon. Anyway, yeah, she gets everybody in there. Dick Tracy. And I really like how she draws Sue Storm. Look at that. She's out shopping. Anyway, they all get it's the whole origin. Here's Johnny Storm working on his hot rod that's like a hot dog, and he's got the Three Stooges helping him out. It's and then the Superman parody here, he's in despair because the Marvel heroes have overtaken him. But it's all Marie Severin art. Anyway, the issue was in pieces that I got from that kid. I guess at some point I got, here's one that's bagged and board. I got a copy of it in good shape, and I must have just gotten rid of that roots because that kid that I traded it from, I hope he's not watching. I know where I've established contact with him a few years ago after I hadn't seen him since 1975. But as I recall, back in 4th grade, he was kind of one of those kids that would have his finger in his nose, and he'd eat what came out, and owning a comic book that came from his collection that was it was just like you touched it and it just felt like, I don't think they'd invented hand sanitizer back in 1975, but it just felt like I need to sanitize my hands. It was horrifying. Arg was like Marvel's answer to Plop. It's mostly horror. It's all horror-related stories. But it's much like the early Mad. When EC first started Mad, it was basically a horror parody comic, and then they started making fun of other comic books and movies. Here's the Kolchak issue, which was on you can see how the Mad inspiration there. Anyway, Arg only lasted 5 issues, and these are all my childhood copies. I love that. Here's more of the Archie imitations from Marvel. Harvey number 4. Ooh, this is one I pay. This is the high prices you would pay. What is that rating on that? They're saying this is a 5.0, but when I saw this, the beautiful red, and it's a monster movie. I had to get this issue from Duncanville Books, and I just realized, man, they're charging so much for these books. And Millie the Model, it wasn't always an Archie imitation, but it was by this point in the early 70s. There's 202. 204. Okay, now I've already forgotten where I put those issues, but I put them in a box with, remember those issues I'd gotten recently that partly led to my financial, that didn't go over well, spending that money on those comics. That was bad. Okay. There's some of these books, I know where to put them now.
Felix Garth. What about him? Just before I found his body, I saw you leaving his apartment building.
This guy that plays the Green Hornet,
Why didn't you tell the police?
Dan Williams, went to Arlington Heights High School in Fort Worth. I've been in that school, and so John Denver also went to high school. Okay, these copies of Little Kids that I got, terrible condition. This is my childhood copy of Little Pals, which was a Marvel comic that reprinted. I bought this off the newsstand at 7-Eleven, off the spinner rack in Hampton, Virginia. Little Pals number 2. I missed Little Pals number 3. I don't know how I would ever find a copy of that. Here's Little Pals number 4. She looks a lot like Henrietta Hippo in News and Review. Little Pals number 5. This is not, all 3 of those I got as a kid. This one I got more recently, in right right around the time of the pandemic. But they reprint old 50s Marvel funny animal stories. Now, little kids, here's issue 7. See, it has the same font basically in it. Oh shit, I already had it. I didn't realize that. And I spent $3 on a beat up copy of a book I already had. Gosh darn it. At least I didn't have issue 5. Dang, man. Well, how was I supposed to remember? Not only, I had 2 copies of it that were bagged and boarded. Okay, number 8. These are reprints of old, maybe even older than the 50s Marvel-owned stuff. There's 8. Here's 9. And it went on after this, and there was an artist there was a comic strip that took over that was kind of like an African-American Charlie Brown, done by an African-American artist, and I think it was called Calvin. And I've never seen a copy of that in my life, and but it was called Little Kids, and it maybe went 12 issues, I don't know. Spoof was a Marvel attempt to do a humor magazine, lots of Marie Severin art in it. Here's another copy of number 1, the Dark Shadows parody, and there's the Mod Squad, which they call the Claude Squad. And yeah. Spoof number 2, parody of All in the Family. There's Rob Reiner. That's a pretty unfortunate stereotype they've got there. And this is weird in that's, if you know what that is, that's Charlie Brown and I guess Lucy, but it's done in the style of the poster for the X-rated cartoon Fritz the Cat. And so, yeah, that's a reference to the poster for a movie that probably shouldn't be on the front cover of a code-approved book. But anyway, here's spoof number 3, where David Cassidy's being sworn in president by John Lennon, using a copy of the Rolling Stone instead of the Bible. You got the Jackson 5 and the Osmonds. Got Elvis there, the Rolling Stones. Hold on. Here's a copy that's not bagged and boarded so you can see that better. Osmonds, Jackson 5, Rolling Stones. Some of those people, I'm not sure who they are. And Spiro Agnew's saying, you had to lower the voting age. Well, John Lennon's saying, like, do you promise to, uphold the Constitution? And David Cassidy's saying, right on, Dad. And then, well, I made it. I'm the new Secretary of Rock. And Elvis is saying, far out. I don't know who that's supposed to be. I have no clue. No clue on that one. What if celebrities ran for president? What is this supposed to be? Oh, this artwork's not very good here. Who's the artist? Watch it be one of my favorite artists. They don't even credit the artist. Oh, yes they do. It's written by Steve Gerber, who's a good artist, but the artists are, no, it's written by Steve Gerber and Bruce Carlin. Henry Scarpelli is the artist. I don't know. I guess it's okay, but it's a parody of the Partridge Family called the Part-Rich Family. Ooh, look at that. Remember the beware the claws of the cat. This is interesting because they did a parody of Frogs. Remember the movie Frogs? And it's got Marie Severin art, Herb Trimpe doing inks. But that's a movie that you don't expect to see a parody of frogs, because that was kind of a more... Look at that beautiful Marie Severin art. Love it. I really should get this bagged and boarded, man. Here's 4 with a parody of Blackula and Marcus Welby, MD. And Blackula. It also has a parody of, there's a Flip Wilson parody in here. I never hear anybody talking about Flip Wilson anymore. Make Us Welby, MD. It's basically, they're trying to be like Mad Magazine. Of course, Marie Severin worked for EC.
She knows about us, Dad. We have to get rid of her.
Look at this lineup.
We'll take her out to where you force her.
Good piece of chance. Oh, so they kill off Blackula at the end. Then there's all of these characters are showing up to make their own movies. And there was one with there was a Frankenstein blaxploitation movie called Blackenstein. So they actually predicted that. And there was also a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde one called Dr. Black and Mr. Hyde. Here they even have one of The Fly. And number 5, boy, this created a real problem. I traded with my friend Sammy in 3rd grade for this. I forgot what I traded him, but anyway, I was going through my collection, and he had been over and visited my house after the trade, and this issue was gone from my collection. He had stolen it back after we traded, and then I was at his house, and I happened to be flipping through his books, and I saw it, and I said, "Man, you traded that to me." And then his dad had to come over and talk to my dad. It was so embarrassing. And of course, his dad was former military. He was World War II, and he was married to a Japanese woman, I guess he'd met after the war, and my dad was a colonel, and they had a lot to talk about. They had a lot in common. And anyway, I got the book back because here it is, but it has memories associated with spoof number 5. That is a parody, by the way, of Night Gallery. I guess I could upgrade it someday if I could ever find it for sale anywhere. And then at the back, it looks like I've got these King Features. This is where I have my King Features books. I didn't know where I'd put them. It's good to go through your books occasionally, and then you know where things are. Yeah. Okay, amazing. How about that? Oh, this box. How many boxes did I bring down today? Was it 3 or 4? You remember? Captain Savage, Challengers of the Unknown, Daredevil. How about I make another episode out of this? Because I think I showed you the detectives recently in the Doom Patrol. I don't know. Now I've got all these boxes in the living room. I just didn't want to go through them in the attic. I wanted to bring them down where there's more light and I can watch my shows. And so now I've got to go back and watch the end of the Saturday morning show, but I'll have to watch it on my phone while I've got this playing in the background. It's like I've got too much to do now. But anyway, I've got a GoFundMe going if you want to help out, because it would be greatly appreciated, and I would really, it would be a blessing. And let's see if the ice is, well, there isn't ice, it's snow. Let's see, it was just a light dusting of snow this morning. Let's see what's going on outside.
Try El Producto's Elegant Dining Kit. 2 for 25 cents.
Frankie, what kind of dog food does your dog eat? Young fella, I want to know. Checkers and dogs. Dogs like canned dog food.
Oh man, I think Varan the Unbelievable's about to start.
Yeah, do this to me.
I probably need to switch this out, man.
But Gaines burgers are moist and meaty, see? Go ahead, but... And they taste terrific. And you don't know nothing about checkers, neither. Gaines burgers dog food.
Oh my gosh.
Without the can.
So how are you guys doing this morning, this afternoon? It's now almost 1 o'clock p.m.
That's the Athena 2000 electronic machine by Singer. It's $100 off.
Oh, commercial with Debbie Reynolds.
25 stitches. Even measures buttons and makes buttonholes to fit in one step. If you missed your chance last time, the big Singer sale is back.
Hey, Debbie, if you was my mother, what would you think of your son now?
Why are women so happy?
Oh my gosh.
Is it because Tickle is the first roll-on with a big, wide ball? Is it because Tickle comes in 4 fresh fragrances? Or is it because Tickle helps keep you dry all day?
Anyway.
Make yourself happy. Staying drier is nicer with a little Tickle. Why are women so happy about new Tickle antiperspirant? Is it because Tickle is the first roll-on with a big, wide ball?
Okay.
Is it because Tickle has a new...
Yeah. Golly gee. Well, I got to go to this town on Friday where there's an ophthalmologist in order to get my prescription. But the last couple of times I've gone to this town, as soon as my car knows it's going to that town, the check engine light comes on. And it goes off as soon as I come back from that town. My car does not like that town. My car is trying to warn me to not go to that town. Every time it's the town that has the Walmart. It's the town that's got the all-you-can-eat pizza restaurant. But somehow my car, whenever I just start heading that way, it gives me a check engine light that apparently means there's something wrong with the catalytic converter. But the catalytic converter only has a problem when it's heading towards that town. And people say, that's a meth town. Everyone in that town is on meth. I don't know if that's true, but everyone seems to say that. But it's where the pizza is. And it's where the Walmart is. And I've always hated Walmart. But then when you don't have a Walmart, it's exciting to go to a Walmart. That's kind of pathetic when you get excited to go to a Walmart. Like, really pathetic. Wow. Yeah, I'll show you the Bob Hopes and the Daredevils next time, man. I don't have time for that shit. I mean, that stuff. No time. I got no time. So. Dear Heavenly Father, please help Iran to get a stable government. Please help the people of Venezuela to, I think you've already helped the people of Venezuela. But please help the world to get to a more stable place and help everyone have the best life they can have. Help the people of Minneapolis, Minnesota to just help everybody and help us all to get on our feet. And but thank you for hearing me. Amen. I was reading today, or hearing it somewhere, that when Jesus would pray before he would perform a miracle. He would always end it with "Thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing me." He would and I never, and they said this is something that they don't talk about as far as prayer goes, but anyway. Yeah, these old commercials are great. Anyway, this is on the Roku. It's called Throwback Television. It's better than MeTV, in my opinion. Except for the show called Captain Isotope they put on there. It's god awful. Yeah, on Thursday night they have The Goodies. That's a pretty good show. I remember seeing that when I was like in junior high on Channel 13 PBS in Dallas-Fort Worth. But I think Varan the Unbelievable is coming on next. I think that's a Dutch movie.
Thursday, John Amos, Ernest Borgnine, and the Cop of the Future are set up by
That guy you're hearing, that was Ghoulardi. He was a horror movie host, and then he became the voice of ABC. Imagine that's your job. You just have to read ad copy because you've got a great voice. Or you're like Don Pardo. You're just the voice of game shows and the voice of Saturday Night Live. That would be great. There's a show that's not funny from Canada. It comes on in the early morning on Saturday and Sunday called The Hilarious House of Frightenstein. But it has monsters and it's from Canada, so that may be why it's not funny. But they have Vincent Price during the opening credits laughing and introducing the show, and then they have him appear occasionally in between. And it's like he apparently filmed everything in 6 days, just everything he needed, and they used it throughout the different 109, 130 episodes of the show. It's just like, imagine you've got such a great voice that you just make a living coming in and just talking. Okay, give me something to read. Okay, now I'm going.
So as a test, we actually froze an Everflex garden hose in this cake of ice. And you can imagine what freezing would do to most hoses. But now, we're going to break the ice and see what it did to Everflex. You ready? Hit it! You can see for yourself. Not a snarl, kink, or curl with Everflex. So flexible that even at 32 degrees, it coils with ease. The amazing new Everflex garden.
Who would have ever thought to put a hose in ice?
Everflex at hardware and garden stores now.
Okay, what's going to happen? Wait, I thought Varan the Unbelievable was a color movie. This looks like a black and white print of whatever it's going to be. Corey Film Corporation. Maybe I'm thinking of Reptilicus. Reptilicus is the Dutch movie that's color. Okay, Varan the Unbelievable. This is clearly, I don't think it's Japanese. It's probably Korean. All right, well, let's give me something to entertain me. Let's wrap it up at 2 hours and 30 minutes. Okay. Incredible. Well, I don't know when I'll see you again. Maybe I'll start doing live streams. I tried a couple in the last few weeks, but I don't know. You tell me what you think. If you'd like to see more live streams. Seems like people were begging for it there for a while, but I don't know. You guys, I'll see you soon. Bye.